This is the second part of Unit 6, talking about the Supreme Court. The main power of the Supreme Court, or SCOTUS, is to interpret or review laws. The highest court in the U.S. is the Supreme Court. The highest court in the state of Maryland is the Court of Appeals. Here are the Supreme Court cases that are important. Marbury v. Madison established judicial review. That means the Supreme Court can decide if laws and executive orders are constitutional or unconstitutional. McCulloch v. Maryland explained the necessary and proper clause, also called the elastic clause, and the supremacy clause. The elastic clause allows Congress to have powers that are not written in the Constitution. These powers are called implied powers. The supremacy clause makes the federal government more powerful than the state government. Plessy v. Ferguson. This legalized the separate but equal racial segregation. That means that segregation between black and white people was legal during this time. Brown v. Board of Education overturned Plessy v. Ferguson. That means that segregation was declared illegal. It required desegregation in schools and other public places or buildings. Gideon v. Wainwright. The government must provide an attorney or a lawyer for a person accused of a crime if that person cannot afford one. Miranda v. Arizona. People are required to tell a person what their rights and their freedoms are. This also means what they're being accused of. Police are not allowed to question someone until they read the Miranda rights to the accused. Tinker v. Des Moines. Students have the freedom of expression or speech as long as the speech does not interrupt with learning. New Jersey v. TLO. School officials can search students if they have reasonable suspicion. They do not need probable cause or a search warrant. This is the end of Unit 6, talking about the Supreme Court cases and the Supreme Court.